Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, text number 47. Apapeshu swasmrityeshu balena pakva buddhina papam kritam tad bhagavan sarvatma kshantum arhati. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhaya Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Then the Rishi prayed to the all-pervading personality of Godhead to pardon his immature boy who had no intelligence and who committed the great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate, and who deserved to be protected. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Everyone is responsible for his own action, either pious or sinful. Rishi Shamika could foresee that his son had committed a great sin by cursing Maharaj Parikshit, who deserved to be protected by the Brahmanas. For he was a pious ruler and completely free from all sins because of his being a first-class devotee of the Lord. When an offense is done unto the devotee of the Lord, it is very difficult to overcome the reaction. The Brahmanas, being at the head of the social order, are meant to give protection to their subordinates and not to curse them. There are occasions when a Brahmana may furiously curse a subordinate, Kshatriya or Vaishya, etc. But in the case of Maharaj Parikshit, there was no grounds, as already explained. The foolish boy had done it out of sheer vanity in being a Brahmana's son, and thus he became liable to be punished by the law of God. The Lord never forgives a person who condemns his pure devotee. Therefore, by cursing a king, the foolish Shringi had committed not only a sin, but also the great offense. Therefore, the Rishi could foresee that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead could save his boy from his sinful act. He therefore directly prayed for pardon from the Supreme Lord, who alone can undo a thing which is impossible to change. The appeal was made to the name of a foolish boy who had developed no intelligence at all. The appeal was made in the name of a foolish boy who had developed no intelligence at all. The question may be raised here in that since it was the desire of the Lord that Parikshit Maharaja be put into the awkward position so that he might be delivered from material existence, then why was a Brahmana's son made responsible for this offensive act? The answer is this, that offensive act was performed by a child only, so that he could be excused very easily. And thus the prayer of the father was accepted. But if the question is raised, why the Brahmana community as a whole was responsible for allowing Kali into the material world affairs, the answer is given in the Varaha Purana, that the demons who acted inimically towards the personality of Godhead but were not killed by the Lord were allowed to take birth in the families of Brahmanas to take advantage of the age of Kali. The all-merciful Lord gave them a chance to have their births in the families of pious Brahmanas so that they could progress towards salvation. But the demons, instead of utilizing the good opportunity, misused the Brahminical culture due to being puffed up by the vanity in becoming Brahmanas. A typical example is the son of a Shamika Rishi, and all the foolish sons of Brahmanas are warned hereby not to become a foolish as Shringi and be always on guard against the demonic qualities which they had in their previous births. The foolish boy was, of course, excused by the Lord, but others who may not have a father like Shamika Rishi will be put into great difficulty if they misuse the advantage obtained by the birth in a Brahmana family. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, in this amidst all rainy day today, so one more wonderful day we all have gathered here to receive the blessings of Krishna's unconditional love, and one more chance for us to develop the taste the pure unalloyed devotional service, taste the pure unalloyed Krishna's glories. So I thank all of you to come here week on week And that too even during rainy season, you are made up to come here. Not because you'll get something after this, some feast after this, but just a Kichdi Prasadam. So nevertheless, you are all come here, it's only because of the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. It's because of blessings of Srila Prabhupada that we all have come here amidst all the difficulties. Right from the time you left your house, the first step you left, kept out of the threshold of your house, from that time, Krishna is always with you and Prabhupada is always with us. So this is important for us to know this. So in Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 24th chapter, so 9th canto, 24th chapter, 61st verse, it just explains, Kalo janishyamānānām dukkha shoka tamonudam bhakta anugrahaya bhaktana supunya vetano yashaha. Kalo janishyamānānām, the Krishna, in order to show his causeless mercy upon all the devotees who would be taking birth in Kali Yuga. So Krishna has expanded, Vyatanod, he has expanded Yashaha. Krishna has expanded his activities, his pastimes, his glories, which are supunyam, which themselves are very transcendental, it is pious, it is punya, it is very purifying. So, Krishna has acted in such a way that simply by remembering the activities and glories of Krishna, one can be completely free from all the lamentations and all the suffering, shukka, doka, shoka, tamo nudam. And nudam, he is saying here, completely he will be relieved from all the pangs of material existence. So, such a wonderful activities and pastimes of Krishna can be, even though the activities and pastimes of Krishna's are there in Harivamsha Purana and a few other little Puranas, but majorly, this Bhagavatam is such a wonderful literature, which is full of Krishna's activities and pastimes, glorious activities and pastimes. It is like a treasure house. It is a reservoir of Krishna's glories, Krishna's glorious, magnanimous activities. And in this Bhagavatam, in the same chapter, 18th chapter, the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam has been sung. Notama shloka vartanam dushtanam tat kathamritam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is such a wonderful, sublime literature that anyone who remembers or simply hears submissively every day, what happened? Immediately all the miseries in his life will be completely vanquished, will be destroyed. And it is further said, Ya ya kata bhagavataha. One will achieve all the perfection in one's life simply by submissively hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. And is it that itself? No. Furthermore, Sya sambramo antakalepi smaratam tatpadambujam. So at the last moments of our life, we will be completely saved. We will not be bewildered. We will not be confused. And there will be no miseries at the point of one's death. There's no confusion, there's no fear, there's no bewilderment at the point of one's death. So, and further it says, Apyayati Govinda. It's all from this chapter. I'm not saying thing if somewhere else. All from this chapter. So, Apyayati Govinda. Just like honey intoxicates the bees, the activities and glories of Krishna intoxicates the devotees. Apyayati Govinda. Why? Because intoxication? Because they always attracted to Krishna's qualities, his character. And person who is attracted to Krishna's quality and character will not be disturbed by the Kali's influence. Kalina dira biruna apramatta pramatteshu. So Kali is fearful. In the whole this episode we can see that how Kali surrenders to Parikshit Maharaj. So similarly, Kali is afraid of devotees. So it should not be externally when we see in outside world, there's a lot of troubles and traumas and pains and sufferings which is inflicted upon all of the people. But we have an anchor, we have a support, we have a shelter, we have an umbrella of Krishna's glories. Yashaha. So further it says, why it is attractive? Why is Krishna's qualities are attractive? Basically Krishna's qualities are attractive because of his form. We all know Krishna's form is very beautiful. And because of Krishna's transcendental or his divine character. Because of this, Krishna is very attractive. His form, Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. It is there in Bhagavatam 4th canto, and further in the 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam very beautifully explains Barha Pidam Natavaravapuhu Karnayor Karnikaram Bibradvasaha Kanaka Kapishayor Vaijayanti Jamalam. Wonderfully it explains that Krishna, who is beautiful in his form, he has this crown. On this crown he has his apidam, his beautiful peacock feather, Pinchamalaha. So he has there Barha Pidam Natavara Prabhu. He is an expert dancer and he has beautiful bodily features. Natavara Prabhu, Karnayor Karnikaram, Karnayoho, on his ear there is a blue Karnika flower. You just imagine this. Karnakor Karnikaram Bibradvasaha. He has a beautiful garment, and the garment is brilliant as sun, brilliant as gold, is shining, is yellow. Bibradvasaha Kanika Kapisham Vaijayanti Chamala. He has a beautiful Vaijayanti mala around his neck, and it's very with fragrant flowers. Randram Venuhu. Randram Venuhu Sudaya Adara Sudaya Purayam Goparundaihi. So he is playing his flute, filling his nectar from his lips over the holes of this flute. Vrindaranyam Swapadarmanam Gopakirtihi, Pravishat Gopakirtihi. Wonderfully it's explained that Krishna, who is entering the Vrindavana and beautifying Vrindavana by his transcendental footmarks. So that in many places we can understand that Krishna's beauty is wonderful. At the same time, Krishna's divine character is also amazing. In Bhagavatam it says, Sheelam Sarva Gunanuranjanam. Krishna's character is very beautiful, attractive, because it satisfies all living entities. Lord Shiva in the 4th canto, 24th chapter, 44th verse, he says, Darshanam no didrikshonam dehi bhavatachitam rupam priyatamam swanam sarvendra gunanjanam. Krishna's qualities and activities and character is so wonderful. Why? Because it satisfies the demands of our senses, all senses. Sarvendriya. It satisfies the demands of all senses. Actually, the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam may not be attracted to this eyes, this metal eyes, but beauty of Bhagavatam is attracted to our hearts. That's why you all are here today. So very much important. Krishna's character and beauty is so much. And we may ask, what is that Prabhu character is very beautiful? What is his character? Krishna has a lot of characters. But one important character is very amazing is Krishna wants to give credits to his devotees, not to take by himself. Chikirshor Bhagavatam 3rd canto, 24th chapter, 30th verse, it says, Chikirshor Bhagavan Gnanam Bhaktanam Manavardhanam. Krishna is always eager, Krishna is always enthusiastic, Krishna is always excited to glorify his devotees, increase the honor of his devotees, increase the fame of his devotees. Again in Srimad Bhagavatam explaining describing the Pracheta's activities in the 4th canto, 30th chapter, 24th verse, Namo Vishuddha Sattvaya Hare Hari Medase Vasudevaya Krishnaya Prabhave Sarva Sattvatam. So Krishna is so much eager to increase the influence of all the devotees. Prabhave Sarva Sattvanam. So today is one such pastime wherein Krishna is demonstrating his love and care for his devotee Parikshita. To increase the pastime, to increase the glory and fame of Parikshita, he has orchestrated the whole scene, whole story here. So today we'll try to explore some of the valuable insights from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, chapter 18, chapter entitled Parikshita's Curse by Brahmana Boy, Parikshite Munikumara Shapaha, verse number 47. So let's try to discover some of the significance of humility, and also try to get to know about the power of forgiveness from this verse. So this verse basically it is praying, the Shamika Rishi is praying to the Lord to forgive his son Shringi. So very importantly, the first lesson what we have to learn from here is, we have to, obviously as being devotees, we have to apologize to our mistakes. The man is to err, we commit mistakes. But the honest repentance is what matters. A sincere repentance from the heart. and a sincere attempt to avoid not committing the same offense again is the point. Generally we say we have been taught in schools and social status, sorry, thank you. So, but even generally we have to tell from our heart. And we can see from the life of Parikshit Maharaj here, but how he was repenting that what he did was wrong. How many of you came for the first time here? Okay, all of you are regular. Anyway, I don't have to tell this, the whole story. So all of you know, we all know this, but as a Krishna Katha, so we'll just make a small recap or tell the synopsis of this whole incident, what has happened. So Parikshit Maharaja, who had gone for a hunting excursion, so after a long time of his hunting, so he felt fatigued, tired, and he was very thirsty. So on his way, it so happened, on his way he found out the one ashrama. So he entered the ashrama to quench his thirst, drink water, to quench his thirst. But to his astonishment, he saw there's no one there except the Shamika Rishi, who was deep in his meditation. So then he looked around, called, hello, hi, anyone there? So no one responded. So then he asked the Shamika Rishi. See, one important point what you will see here is Parikshit Maharaj was feeling thirsty. But if you take the quality of a Kshatriya, they've been trained in such a way, especially if you see Mahabharata and all those things, they will train in such a way that right from the morning to evening, they'll be fighting without the breaks, without tea break, coffee break, lunch break, dinner break, breakfast break. No, they have been trained sufficiently so that they can be like that without food, without water for hours together, and also to fight along with that. So you have to understand that it is a desire of the Lord that this whole scenario, this whole scene, this whole story has been created like this. That he feels an excruciating thirst within himself so that he will go there and all the things would go on. So then what he did? So he asked the Shamika Rishi, but he was in deep meditation. So he was completely out of this external world. So then there was no response from him. So as a way of, this is a cold reception, he is such a great king. So there's a cold reception. So as a gesture of that cold reception, what he did, he saw a dead snake over there. And he took the dead snake and he put that dead snake over on the Shamika Rishi's neck. So one more important what you have to see here is, when Parikshit Maharaj was putting the dead snake around the neck of Shamika Rishi, he did not disturb him. He did not disturb him slowly. Just imagine, you have to just go into that picture and just he slowly put there. So, whereas the demons are always wanting to disturb the devotees and their activities, even now, at present times also. So, this is not a person, this is a Vaishnava, he is such a Mahabhagavata, Rajarshi, Naradeva, and that person is very careful about all these things. Okay, he is a king, he can do whatever he wants, oh, this is ashrama, this belongs to me also, anyway he is doing meditation, no one looks at me, no CC camera, let me go inside and find some water. No, he did not do that also. So we have to keep in mind, see, you have to follow the footsteps of our acharyas. So very importantly, now we should take permission and take the thing which belongs to them. Not that no one is saying, I can just take this thing, anyway it's excess prasadam, let me pack and go. Many things like that. So we have to ask and we have to do. So here, then what happened? Parikshita, he left to this palace and he felt very morose, very repentful for his action, and he regretted a lot, and he had made up his mind that I am ready to face any consequence, any punishment. It's okay for me because I did a mistake. See, that slokas are there in the previous verses, previous chapters. So meanwhile, what happened? Shamika Rishi's son, he got to know about this news, and he became so agitated. He was probably 6 or 7 years old. And he became, because of his pride of being a Brahmana, he has been seeing this, for Brahmanas, a lot of awe and reverence, and people are falling at feet and give donation, things like that. So this is awe and reverence, that gamanda. So that was there in his mind, how can this wretched kings can do this? Like dogs, he makes, in few of the previous verses, he used the word dog. So they're watchdogs. So how can they do this mistake? How they can humiliate my father? And immediately there's a Kaushika river that he took the water from the river, chanted some mantra, and immediately cursed that Parikshit Maharaj to die in How many days? Why 7 days? We don't ask this. See here, Parikshita Vashi, Shamika Rishi, the Shangi could have cursed Parikshit Maharaj to become a stone, just like Gautama Muni cursed Ahalya to become a stone, or like a Narada cursing the Kubera's sons, Nalakura Manigriva, to become trees. Or to curse like it, when Hanuman was very young, to curse him that he can forget all of his powers. He could have cursed something like that. But why only 7 days? There is no Shastra Pramana here. But it is by the will of the Lord, wherein the Sukadeva Goswami can deliver whole Bhagavatam in these 7 days. And that is the reason. That was sufficient for him to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, then he cries, while crying, he comes to the ashram, and he sees his father with this dead snake over there, and creates a big hue and cry. He started crying, yelling, shouting. Then Shamika Rishi was in trance. He came out to the consciousness. He opened his eyes. Actually, who disturbed? Who disturbed? So then he says, what happened? And this is all the incident happened. He explained. And he felt, Shamika Rishi felt so morose, so distressful, so remorseful, so regretful. Why it is done? Parikshit Maharaj has done such a insignificant mistake. For that is such a severe punishment, so disproportionate. Because this one is sin and you're offending a Vaishnava like that. Actually, so very importantly we have to understand the concept of the curse and the blessings. As I said in the beginning of this verse, beginning of this class, the blessing. Because blessings of Srila Prabhupada, we are all here. And this chapter it speaks about Parishita Munikumara Shapaha. So it's a Shapa. What is a Shapa? See, generally we don't get into the details of that. We have to understand these blessings and curses are the two consequences of any action. So any action, every action or every thought or every decision has some consequence. So this is saying that there are two profound outcomes of our choices. See, whenever any activities, whenever something happens, we act to that. According to, we choose what have to choose. According to those choices, we have the blessings or the curses. And these blessings and curses are both in opposing forces. Both opposing forces which shapes our lives, which influences our spiritual progress, which influences our material well-being, which influences our relationship, isn't it? So, you have to understand the blessings we all know. And now there's a mercy of God and for our happy living, things like that. And actually the blessings is one of the factor in 5 factors of action. Adhisthana, Cheshta, Karanam, Karanam, Karta and Daivam. So they say that blessings is a currency to purchase the ingredient for success. So this wonderful thing that blessings is very much required for our any success in our life. So let's discuss more about curses here. So Nishamya Shapam Arad Arham Atad Arham Narendram. So Shapam has been explained. So I just went through the dictionary meaning of what is Shap, what is a curse. It says serious utterance intended to invoke a supernatural power to inflict harm or punishment or someone. So long one. So it says basically utterance of something intended to harm someone. Words transforming into action. So something about curse. Actually, when I was in my school days, I used to always wonder. My grandmother used to take me to Ragigudda temple. How many are from Jainagar 9th block? Jainagar. Okay. There's in Jaina 9th block. There is a Ragigudda. There's a beautiful temple. Hanuman temple ji is there. And behind the temple, there are 3 rocks. There are 3 huge monolithic rocks, probably 25-30 feet height, and all are standing vertical. I was just thinking the way from in the city, someone has to keep this rocks like this. Standing. So once I asked my grandmother, what is this story? Then she told this wonderful story. And the story is that once there was that thousands of years back, that land was ruled by one Palegar, some king. So his main occupation was to grow ragi, millet. So he had his wife who was very ruthless, who was very selfish, but also that king had a wonderful daughter-in-law. She was so compassionate, so caring and want to serve everyone. So every day his daughter-in-law used to distribute and do charity and cook and distribute the food to a lot of people. And once it so happened, it was a time of drought. And since daughter-in-law became so much famous, this mother-in-law could not bear this, could not hold this anymore. So she stopped this daughter-in-law's activities. But she was feeling so morose and so repentful that the people outside are suffering because of drought. Over and above, my mother is not allowing me to distribute this food, which I have in stack, which are stacked, huge stacks. Because he was a king, they had a huge granary, huge silos of ragi stacked. So because of her prayer and because of prayers of a lot of people there, and Trimurtis came there, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Maheshwara, all the three came in disguise of mendicants and stood in front of the house and started begging, Bhavati Vikta, Vikshan, Dehi. So she saw this, daughter-in-law saw this mother-in-law was busy in some course of her household activities. So she brought some ragi and she was about to give to those mendicants. Somewhere she was there, she got to know, she ran here and she started chastising daughter-in-law. What is this you're doing? And with all ill words and things like that. And this Trimurtis, these mendicants, see, they could not bear the pain of offending a devotee. So similarly, at that time, these mendicants, they cursed this place, that this place becomes barren, and thus there's stacks of this ragi which is there become stone, and immediately they become stone. And the king from somewhere, he ran and caught hold of these mendicants, asked forgiveness to forgive them for all the mistakes. And the mendicants said that, okay, from now onwards, make a temple here, start worshipping here, and so that all the curses will be completely removed. So I was just thinking, what is this? Utterance became a stone. It became action. Because, see, somewhere there should be a medium to clarify our actions or to seek justice. Just like in modern judicial system, so we have some lawyers, we can appoint some lawyers, and we can have some arguments over a trial, things like that. And after a deliberately thinking about the seriousness of this case and all the pros and cons and reviving its merits, so finally he will have a verdict, that's the court, and that will be final. So, but I was just thinking in the previous times, there were no lawyers or the courts as of now. So just like you become a cow, you become a cat, you become a dog, then who will listen our plea? Who will listen our view? I was just thinking, and I was just thinking that time, there should be some person who is taking this, that's a supernatural power, no? Taking this curses or blessings to that person. Just like that, we have various demigods which governs our nature, like Varuna Devata, who is in charge of water, and Agni Devata is in charge of fire. Then learning Saraswati, for opulence, Lakshmi, like that we all have. So I was thinking, who is that personality who coordinates to reach out these curses or blessings to that person, so that it come true, so it would happen. So just thinking, and the answer I found it in today's verse, Papam Kutam Tat Bhagavan Sarvatma Bhagavan. So it is the Lord who is all-pervading, is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient, who is in all everyone's heart. He is the one who manifests the consequence of our action. And if at all tomorrow you have to curse or bless someone, it has to go through the filter of Paramatma and enter into that Paramatma's heart. So this is wonderful thing here, that Chamika Rishi is praying to that super soul. Especially in Kannada we say, who is Paramatma? Who is Krishna? We say Krishna Paramatma, we say in Kannada, basically. So, or if you ask any Smartha or Ganapatya, Shaktya, anyone, so who is the Paramatma? They will not tell Shiva or Skanda or Durga. So they will tell Paramatma is Vishnu. So that Vishnu is there in everyone's heart. And he listens to the prayers. And that prayer Chamika Rishi is offering to the lordships, that please forgive my son, he has done this act. Prabhupada says here in the purport, who alone can undo a thing which is impossible to change. Only he can change this, no one else. So, many times it so happens, many younger devotees come to me and say, Prabhuji, please bless me, please pray for me, and things like that. And most of you also might have encountered such requests. So once one devotee came, please pray for me. Then in front of him, I was so annoyed. And in front of him, I said, okay, oh my Lord, please bless this devotee and let him be happy and you do his devotional service like that. And that devotee looked at me and he said, Prabhuji, please pray sincerely. And I was saying that, Ari Bahul, I am chanting sincerely. What, you are not able to understand me? See, very importantly, is the faith in the prayer is important and not in the way of he prays. Faith in the person is important, that he prays. So here, at one more instance this happened, one devotee was so persistently behind me, bless me, bless me, bless me, bless me. And he was behind me. I don't know what happened to me, I know, I was so annoyed, and in a moment of frustration I told, okay, you become a cow in Hare Krishna Hill. You want blessings, you become a cow in Hare Krishna Hill. Actually, practically cows in Hare Krishna Hill are living like kings. So 2 times bath and Krishna Prasadam, Harinam, Kirtan, devotees keep touching, especially our Sridham Prabhu, he goes there and feeds the cows and with the prasadam and chant Hare Krishna in their mouth, in the ears. And they give the milk to the Lord, we are used for, as a pujaris, we worship the saligram. And I was thinking, if at all, next my life should be there, I should be a cow in Hare Krishna Hill. But what happened, that devotee was taken aback. And from that day onwards, he stopped asking any blessings from me. So we have to understand, see, actually the blessings or curses from the devotees is the mercy. Swarga, Pavarga, Narakeshu, Apitulyada Darshinaha. So we have to understand this. Any devotee who curses or blesses itself is a mercy for us. So, one important thing which you have to understand from here is, curses or blessings is all dependent on the person who will be utilizing his accumulated good deeds or punya karya. So that is most important. A curses or blessings will be effective only when the person has a sufficient good deeds or punya with him. In fact, when you are cursing, is most of his the punya karya will be lost. When we know the story of the Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni, when he saw the Kamadhenu in the house of Vasishta, so he wanted for himself. And he uses all of his material strength to capture the cow. But he failed. Then he thought that because of the material powers is not possible, we have to get a spiritual powers. And he did a lot of tapasya for hundreds of years. He tapasya and he got all spiritual powers. Then again he went and attacked the Vasishta. Again he was failure. Kamadhenu again here from Kamadhenu's ears, eyes, and a lot of thousands of soldiers came and all destroyed. Kaushika, his early name was Kaushika, Vishwamitra. All of his 99 sons were killed except one son. And then he realized actually Brahmagnana is required, not his material thing. Like Vasishta was a Brahmagnani, was a Brahmarshi. Then he did lot of tapasya. Meanwhile, what happened? Indra got to know that something is happening here. He sends a Urushi. And because of the association with Urushi, he lost all of his punya karya and because of lust. Then again he get back to his senses and then again he start doing tapasya. And then what happens? Then there's Trishanku, there is one king. Trishanku would come. And he knows the rivalry between the Vasishta and Vishwamitra. So he goes to Vasishta and say, see, please send me, I will give all my opulence, please send me in this same body to the heaven. I think this can't be happening, I can't do this. Then he went to Vishwamitra and he said, see, your rivalry, this Vasishta is saying that he can't do this. And out of this envy and ego, why he can't do, I will do this. And he created some plant in between that, but Indra denied that. Trishanku, that's called Trishanku, neither here or there. So then how most of his, again, punya karya was lost because of his envy. Then again he started, got back his senses and did lot of tapasya again. Then Indra again sends a Ramba. And because you know that because of Menaka I lost all my senses and lost all my powers and a lot of my time was wasted. So because of Ramba, she's again come to disturb me and with anger he burns her. So again, because of anger, most of his karma, most of his punya is gone. So like this, going that whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Ramayana and Sundarakanda, it explains of Sundara of this, how Vishwamitra is taking surrenderance to Rama. And Lord Ramachandra, when he takes shelter of Ramachandra to kill the Tadaka, he had so much of powers. So on his journey, he explains his whole process to Ramachandra. That whole process of Vishwamitra's story comes over there. So, we have to understand this power of words is so much. So concept, we have to understand the power of words is only because of one's authority. One's power is because of that. Just to give an example, a commander-in-chief of army or a judge, he uttered something And immediately what happens? Say a person should be hanged, something like that you will be uttering. Immediately what happens? The judge verdict, immediately it creates events of a mechanism which triggers the penal system of the government. So the words are transforming into action because of his power, because of his authority, because of his position. Isn't it? Right now we can see how this Prabhu curses will be acting upon him. We can right now see. On the contrast, if we can say, then an ordinary person is cursing some other person. You will be hanged. The utterance is there. It's a mere utterance. Is any action happening after that? But a boss in the company, he says, I fired you, an employee. Similarly, the employee will be fired. Action will be there after that. So you have to understand that this words would manifest, the mechanism would be activated by this. That is all depends upon one's power. So, fortunately, actually, we all, mandasu mandamataya, mandabhagya pratataha, and then in the Kali Yuga, we don't have that power. If the Brahmanas would have that power, what would happen? Full chaos, devastated. Hey, you become cow, you become a cat, you become this full animal kingdom would have been here. Full devastated because of our short-tempered. Just like this Shringi was short-tempered. He could not see, he was so impudent. He was so resentful. So that we have to understand here, that spiritual life is meant to evolve our consciousness, not simply cursing everyone, whomever we meet, because of our ego, envy, or whatever it is. So unless until we don't, this Shamika Rishi is reprimanding his son, explaining him that you should be empathetic. You should try to understand situation from the other shoes, from other point of view. Not simply start commenting and cursing people, abusing people, and this is not the way. In this way, we will be only shrinking our consciousness. We have to develop our consciousness. That's evolvement of our consciousness. Krishna consciousness means what? We have to evolve in our consciousness, where we can see the pains of others. That's the real the development of a consciousness. Not to see only my pleasure, my happiness. In Bhagavatam 4th canto, 22nd chapter, 39th verse, it says, Shroto ganam tam aranam bhaja vasudevam. Shrotro ganam, it's saying that waves of sense enjoyment. Just like when you go to the ocean, when you stand there, and there's a continuously lot of waves keeping and hitting you. And if you're not careful, it'll draw you and it'll pull you into the ocean, and you're lost, and no one can save, and you'll be dead. Completely dead. So it's saying that similarly, the waves of sense gratification is always hitting us, it's disturbing us. So what is the best way? Can we try to protect ourselves by this? Can we stop this? We can't stop this. We can try to protect ourselves by our own energy, by our own strength. It's impossible. So, but if you have an anchor, but if you have a pole, if you have a strong anchor over there, stable there, and if you're holding on to that, just see there's some trees there near the seashore, coconut tree, and you're holding to that, and nothing would happen. N number of waves would come, you'll not be disturbed much. So similarly, the Shrotro Ganam Tam Aranam Bhaja Vasudevam, has been said that we have to learn, we have to train ourselves to hold this anchor of Krishna Katha, hold the anchor of devotee association, hold the anchor of Bhakti Seva, and hearing Krishna activities and all those things very strongly. We should learn to hold on to that, so that n number of waves of sense gratification will not be troubling us. And one more thing, actually, even though in that might be the case, but still the struggle is there. Still the struggle is there, where the waves of sense gratification is hitting us. Always fear is there. Every Monday, we pujaris, we do altar cleaning. Well, during altar cleaning, so happens, sadly, during those times, engineers were not proper or did not properly look into that issue. Whenever we try to clean the whole altar, it so happens the drain is near the east and inclination is towards the west. So one puja has to constantly be pulling all the water to the drain with the wiper. So very importantly, if our inclination is towards the sense gratification, because a default setting which is there within us, whatsoever you do, all our activities and desires, or the thoughts or feelings, everything goes towards that only. Just like when you see this the YouTube or Facebook, what happens? According to your own desire, according to your own liking, the company has made an algorithm so that according to your previous history, It will be giving only that kind of stories or that kind of videos. It will become a default. There's someone was saying, once one devotee told me this story, that once one boy came to temple to attend Bhagavad Gita class. But since he has an idea or desire to see always Bollywood movies, things like that, he used to type always Bollywood.com, Bollywood.com. So then after attending this Bhagavad Gita, so he started pressing B, immediately Bollywood is coming instead of Bhagavad Gita. So his intention is even he wanted to understand the Bhagavad Gita, but his inclination is towards Bollywood. So after a certain number of abhyasa, yoga, yuktena, by a certain number of practice, the Bollywood became a Bhagavad Gita. That is by his intelligence. So we have to understand, we should develop this sharp intelligence by reading Bhagavatam. We should hear, we should read, we should assimilate, we should put into practice. And by this, we can have a proper choices. Because in disturbed mind, we can't have a proper decisions. Actually, whole of Srimad Bhagavatam is about decision making. How to make decision, decide, which one to decide, which not to decide, what are the repercussions of that. Whole of Srimad stories about are that. What decisions? Actually, in this whole, chapter is only deals about what is the choices made by Shamika Rishi, what is the choices made by Parikshit Maharaj, after they were badly humiliated or punished. We see only as a story. So just like when I told about that, how initially that the putting the snake around the snake, you just try to contemplate on one incident, and you will get getting into a lot of the wisdom, a lot of thoughts into it. So here also it's saying that unless and until we don't sharpen our intelligence by reading it every day, by hearing, studying, contemplating, assimilating, we can't nourish our intelligence. And we have to have a good association of devotees which can nourish our intentions. Intention also can change. So association of devotees helps us nourish our intention, and reading our Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada books every daily without fail, and whatever point of time you have, in that point of time, if you read, it nourishes our intelligence. And that's how we can change our inclination. So we have to so second lesson here is, we have to try to forgive God as God forgives you. So here, next time if someone try to defame you, try to curse you, or try to abuse you with a lot of words, so we should not be disturbed. You should just follow the footsteps of Parikshit Maharaj. So you should not be disturbed. You should not be too judgmental about things. And you should not even go into the concept of countering the curses. Just like many times, Prabhuji, many people ask, Prabhuji, do you know astrologer? Many people come and ask me. So anyway, I give them contact, that's different. But still I tell them that you should not try to contract the curses or abuses or defamation or things. We should just neglect it. If someone is very negative about our life, so the devotee should not care about it. The lives of Parikshit Maharaj should be least bothered about it. We should take only the good wishes of the people, because it is us we take or we leave it. So we should not take the negative influences of the people. So Bhagavad, especially Bhagavatam, is full of such blessings and curses. Bhagavatam, blessings are so many. And curses, let us see what are the curses in Bhagavatam. So, curses because of Lord's will is this. Curse because of Lord's will is, Parikshit Maharaj was made to suffer, that he was made to die in 7 days. And this is a very important thing which we have to see here. The Parikshit Maharaj, he converted this calamity into an opportunity. Just like Arjuna also, when he went to the heaven and he meets Urvashi, and Urvashi then he approaches Arjuna for enjoyment. Then Arjuna says, "You are my mother because you are related to my ancestor Pururava." Then she gets angry and she curses, "You become an enanch." So he uses that calamity as an opportunity in his Virata Parva. He became a Brahmanala. So, and by intentional mistake, what are the curses? By intentional mistake, the Chitraketu story. That Chitraketu, that Mother Parvati cursed Chitraketu. The Chitraketu criticized Lord Shiva, who made a mistake, and because he had a good intention in him, that because Parvati was made to sit on Shiva's lap, so he wanted to protect the Lord Shiva's honor, that in people in future, the common people should not make offense. This is not offense. So he did it, and immediately he got the curse, but that also he accepted. Tatyenu kamu sumikshamanam. He accepted gracefully, without justifying his action, Chitraketu. And out of anger and pride, there are many, lot of curses. Out of anger and pride, so one is Ambarish Maharaj, cursed by Durasamani. See, this also, for his simple, see, he is in his house, he is doing his vrata, doing all his work, and Durasamani is coming over here and cursing him to death. Okay, curse him to become stone. Cursing him to death. It's the same thing, similar thing. So, that is there. And also, Nardamani cursed by Prajapati Daksha. Also wonderful the incident when Prajapati Daksha had begot some 10,000 children. So Nardamani goes to them, all of them, and make them mendicants, make them devotees, brahmacharis. So Prajapati Daksha gets so angry, and again he begets 1,000 children. First is Haryashwas, and second is Shavalashwas. So he said, your brothers have followed the path of mendicant, of the renunciation. So you all also should follow that. And all second group also become devotees. And because of this, Parikshit, he became so angry, Prajapati Daksha, and he curses him that I curse you that you should not be in any place for a longer time. And it was a blessing. So they can do more preaching, he can keep traveling without any expenses. So then Krishna was cursed by Gandhari. Krishna had no party in the whole war, and he was nothing to take after the war. But still he was cursed by Gandhari. He took it very gracefully. And one more important is Prashadra. There's called as Prashadra. He is Vayasvata Manu's son. Vayasvata Manu had 10 sons. Is first from Shraddha. We got a son from Shraddha Devi. And the first son was Ikshvaku. And one of their son was Prashadra. Prashadra Guru was Vasishta. So Vasishta, under the Vasishta, see how the children were. Because any king, the first son will be always a next king. Even now also in England. So what happens? Other sons, what should happen to them? If they have children, and their children will start fighting for the property and things like that. So they had a whole system, and the children were so obedient. So under the direction of Vasishta Muni, he was made to take care of the cows. Whole night used to be in taking care of the cows. Whole night means no wife, no children. That is different. So here the whole thing was, once it so happened, one tiger attacked a cow, and it was a pitch dark. And with his sword, he got to know that there was some danger here. And with his sword, he went amidst all the cows, a herd of cows, and he just cut the animal's head. And he could not know what was it. And the next morning, there's a fair light there, and he saw to his shock that he had killed the cow. So he had so much pain and so regretful, so remorseful. In that condition, he goes to Vasishta Muni and says, "My dear Guru, this is what happened. Please, what should do?" Actually, what should Vasishta Muni do? He should tell a process for his atonement. But he curses him that next life you become a Shudra. First of all, he is going some pain. And over and above, you are saying that you become Shudra, one Shishya, one disciple. Actually, disciple has to be protected. Disciple has to be, and you should console him. Don't worry, we have so many processes. You console him and give him some process of atonement. So same story there also. But he took up a devotional service, and later he went back to Godhead. So there are so many curses and this thing, but Prabhupada says Bhagavatam emphasizes the importance of seeking blessings from the Lord and his devotees while avoiding actions that lead to the curses. Anything may happen. So we should not, one thing is we should not take it, we should neglect it. Second thing is we should just pray to the Lordships that my Lord, Paramatma, who is there right in your heart, please help me come out of this, that I am offended that person, and I know that he has a ill feeling about me. He has, his heart is very feeling bad about me, and you should pray like this. So apapeshu svabruddeshu balena, I will just take 10 more minutes. Apapeshu svabrutyeshu balena pakva buddhina papam kritam tad bhagavan sarvatma kshantumarhasi. So here Important is in this verse, this wonderful verse, in this verse there is a 4 personality has been described. All the 4 personalities. So Parikshit Maharaj, Shringi, Shamika Rishi and Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Sarvatma. So if you just take this Shringi, Shamika and Parikshit Maharaj, they acted in such a way, they were instruments in the Lord's desire, or instruments of the Lord's desire to fulfill this whole story. And if you take this Parikshit Maharaj and Shamika Rishi, those both were transcendentalists. I was just thinking, both were transcendentalists. One was a Brahman realized, a mystic, and other was Bhagavan realized Vaishnava. So both were there, but both were neutral to the material distresses and the pains and sufferings. And they were free from these 3 modes. Transcendentalist means what? They are completely free from their aloof from the 3 modes of material nature. So the distresses and happiness is created by the 3 modes of material nature. So completely they are completely disconnected. They are not affected by this cause and effect of this material nature. So importantly, what you have to see here is Kali could not influence his effect on these transcendentalists. Just like when something happens to 2 people, they will go on the road and catching each one's necks and hairs and start fighting, beat each other. But there's no incident like this here. Tit for tat. You did, I will also come and do. I will also curse you. Nothing happened like this. Tattenu kambu sumikshamanam. So we have to understand here the quality of empathy and quality of humility they are exhibiting to the highest extent. So in the previous 4 verses also we can get to know that Shamika Rishi is glorifying King Parikshita, that he is a Rajarshi, he is a Naradeva, he is such a great person that he is trying to give, not only taking care of the well-being, material well-being, also spiritual well-being. And we should, if you abolish such kind of king, what would happen? The thieves, rogues and all will come over. So he is telling to his son, he is reprimanding his son. So we have to understand that this father is a responsible father. What should a responsible father should be like? We can get to know from this. Especially nowadays in America and Western countries and all those things. It's such a worst condition. We are all, our modern Indian parents are trying to follow the Americans or Westerners. Just leave whatever children wants to do. Don't disturb them. Don't chastise them. Don't beat them. In America, such a one serious thing. If the parents just because of disciplining the children, if they beat, finish, they will call 911 as a helpline number. Police will come and they arrest the parents. If it's genuine, definitely they arrest. And the poor parents have to go and follow this court and all those things. Apart from the own son is doing such thing. So much pain. And our people also following the same thing here. We can't beat, we can't do anything for children. Whatever they want to do. When school I had my friend, he was a son of an industrialist in Malleshwaram. So his father was such a rich man. He said, his son, my friend, he said, Father, I want to smoke. And he said, okay, be careful, you smoke, but smoke such a way that you smoke the double filtered cigarette. I don't know about whatever that. Father, I want to drink. Okay, drink Angreji syrup. Only Angreji syrup you drink. What is the branded one? Free from calories or what or something like that. So this kind of training is given to the children. But Chanakya Pandita says, Lalayet Panchavashar, Dashavashar Tadayet Prapyat. Till 15 years, we have to reprimand the child. So to bring him to the track, according to Dharma. Just see the Muslims, great, I salute to them. How they teach their children very nicely. They are loyal to their religion, loyal to their system. So great. So you should try to learn from things. So apapeshu sabrutyeshu. The 2 words has been used here. Apapeshu sabrutyeshu. That Bhagavatam is emphasizing the importance of impartial justice. Prabhupada says. In some other place. Bhagavatam is emphasizing the importance of impartial justice. There's no partiality here. We can get to know. So the 3rd lesson what we can learn from here is one should not act impudently. One should maturely act in any given circumstance or situation. So as I said, every day we have to read Prabhupada books and get equipped with our knowledge so that we can have a proper choices and so that our decisions will be all successful. All will be great. Else it will be fear-driven decisions, or it will be anger-driven decisions, grief-driven decisions. Old Mahabharata is all of that decisions only. So, we have to understand, and also one more important, I was just going through this. See, this Shamika Rishi, the son, Shungi, heard it from the third party. He heard it from the third party that so and so happened and immediately started acting. We also know life, we start hearing about this devotee, that, this, and this is what happening. They're talking behind you. Things like that, immediately started commenting, and so we also started creating their one personality, a demon of that person in our heart. And started acting on that. So impulsively we should not act. We should seek guidance from our authorities and then we should act. This is very primary point in our spiritual life. Ask, Shumika Rishi is there, ask him what to do and do this. He is simply happy and everything. Why you are disturbed about it? So similarly, they should ask, not independent nature. That is very condemned here. So, you have to develop so here Shamika Rishi is trying to teach his son that you should develop the quality of appreciating others. Even a minute of, gratefulness on someone, you should just still tell those stories to others. Try to make it big. But not in front of him, behind him. That's very important. So, but telling in front of him, you will be pulling his leg back again. His ego again will be there. So we have to understand, Shamika Rishi is trying to make his son understand one should not be hostile, one should not blame others, one should not having grudges or only focus on injustice or focus on our past. This will not help us. There's a wonderful quote here, says, resentment means anger. Resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for other person to die. So resentment is like drinking poison and waiting the other person to die. So that is the way of our anger works. So lesson 4 is a response and react. This is wonderful here. There's Shamika Rishi is responding to the situation and there's Shringi is reacting to the situation. It so happened, generally people call us for Homa and we take, this is some few years back story, not now. So we used to take the trunk and go. So Narsimha Homa trunk. And previously, a lot of cockroaches used to be there in our prepared room. Now it is no more there. It is all clean. So it so happened we had taken the trunk to one beautiful house. This house only. What do you call this? Prestige. So Prestige were gone. That beautiful house and it's so clean. They had 2 servants cleaning every part, bit and piece, nook and corner, spick and span. So we had taken our this thing and immediately we opened it and we were trying to organize some things. One cockroach flew from there. One cockroach flew from there and sit on a woman, that the Yajman, wife. And she started doing all sorts of actions, gestures, shouting, what has happened, as if the world has fallen. So then at some moment, and after that it fell on, she somehow got rid of the cockroach. The cockroach fell on the Yajman. So he also says, what is your cockroach? But our very brave, our devotee, our bhakta, so he carefully saw that peacefully and caught out of the cockroach and he threw the cockroach. So very importantly, if you have our consciousness proper, so you can properly decide things. Otherwise, you only start reacting to the situations. There's so many things. If you just take this concept of react and response, Dhruva reacted initially, Suruchi reacted, Uttanapada reacted, but Suniti responded. What you have to teach our children this way? There's pratikriya, pratispandana. I don't know the word is there, pratispandana in Sanskrit. It's a pratispandana is Kannada word. Pratikriya, pratispandana. So, and one more story of Daksha. Daksha is become reactful and Lord Shiva is so respondful. Or even if you see this Draupadi, her 5 sons were killed by Ashwatthama. This Brahmana, ruthless Brahmana, so he reacted to the situation because Duryodhana was killed. And what she did do, she responded to the situation. She saw that he is our Guru's son, so we should leave him off. And she was saying that at least I lost my sons, but I have my husbands. But here, Ashwatthama's mother has lost her husband, Drona, and he has only one shelter as a son. If you kill also, what will happen? See the mood, see the quality of the nature of this Vaishnavas. So we have to understand in this context, such a wonderful story comes in my mind. That once Srila Prabhupada had, when he actually only once he went to Russia. And because of that, devotees, there would be a lot of devotees started reading Bhagavad Gita, they're typing and distributing and all those things happening because it's a communist country that time. But so happened, because it was communist country, they got to find out that there's some activities going, religious activities going, because they are afraid that they become a groupism like ISIS now, become groupism, they have their own agenda, they go against the government, things like that. So there was one woman there, so they imprisoned her, and she was pregnant. And that story comes in the solid bread. So then it so happened, she delivered a baby in the prison house itself. And it so happened, the whole night the child used to cry. The child generally cries. And the jailer, he saw that the child is crying so much. What is this? And he put his boots over the child's mouth and said, make your child stop crying. And also stop your chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Otherwise you're going to kill this child. Then she said that, anyway this child is going to die after 10 years or 100 years. And while he is going to die, he'll be able to listen holy name or not. Now I am chanting the holy name, by hearing the holy name, let him die. What a consciousness. What Bhagavatam is bringing that consciousness. Somewhere in some corner of Russia, such kind of consciousness will come, just imagine. About the glories of holy name. So she is responding to the situations. So we should be very careful in that spur of moment, anything will happen. The spur of moment. Actually, I and Venkatarapati were going somewhere. So one person came from the behind of the car, and he started abusing us and scolding us. And I just looked at his face. He was abusing him, scolding him. I just looked at his face and just concentrating on his eyes. Immediately I also got angry. This is very much important. When someone becomes angry, don't look at their face. You just like when you see monkeys, monkeys, if anyway monkeys are there. If monkeys are there, look at their eyes, just look at their eyes like 2 minutes and they'll start pouncing over for you. Such a wonderful concept is this. Even lust or anger, everything, just look into it, give attention to that, you'll be it. So, because of his arrogance and false pride, Brahmana, Prabhupada says, in the present age, they have been depleted. And the Kali has entered through Brahmanas. The reason is there in the today's purport. And last thing, I just wanted to finish off the last point, that we should regret but not forget. So that is very much important. Generally, we do some mistake and we ask forgiveness for that, and after that again we try to commit that. So that we should not do. So a honest realization is much important. That can happen only when you are in association of devotees. So the devotees are like the magnifying glasses. They are trying to find the faults within us. So that will be easy. So always, see, actually we have to say bhakti is, just like they say, this karma is activity oriented. Then Ashtanga Yoga is perfection oriented. And this Gnana is knowledge oriented. And Bhakti is dependence oriented. So it's not that I got spiritual life, I go to my home and do chanting, I don't know anyone, I don't want to be with them. No. Prabhupada has created this organization to be together. Krishna appears amidst us. It's not that Krishna appears by chanting all these things. We can see the presence of Krishna, presence of Prabhupada amidst the devotees. That is very much important. Whole thing of bhakti is to work together. So here Jiva Goswami in the Bhakti Sandarbha, he says, Nindam kurvanti e moodaha, hanti nindati vaidveshti. So there are 6 kinds of offenses towards Vaishnavas. The Vaishnava Parada has been explained here. 6 kinds of offenses. One offense is hanti, there's a killing him. The Durvasa Muni's story, and this story you can get to know. Blaspheming him, nindati. Blaspheming, and we should not do blaspheming the devotees like this. Blaspheming is, we get to know the story of how Sachimata in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sachimata, she was offensive towards Advaita Acharya, because Advaita Acharya, because of her ninth son, became a mendicant because of association of Advaita Acharya. And the 10th son, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was associating with him. So she was really offensive about that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after that, when he told that I don't want to talk to my mother like this, then she goes to Advaita Acharya, holds on to his feet, takes his foot dust on her head, and asks for forgiveness, and that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy about it later. So then, Vaidveshti, we should not be jealous or hating any Vaishnava. Nabhinandati, one should always glorify devotees. And being angry at him, Krudyante, you should not become angry at devotee or the Vaishnava. harsham darshane. So last thing is the worst thing, and for others, by seeing the Vaishnava, you should become happy. By seeing a Vaishnava or Vaishnavi or Mataji or Prabhuji, we should become happy that, oh, such a one, they are great devotees of Krishna, they are devotees of disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So you should become happy, it seems. If you don't do that, you think Vaishnava Prabhupada. So there is one Gopala Chakravarti's story that we know, all know, this Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur, I'll just take just 2 minutes. So Haridas Thakur, once he was invited by Balramacharya. Balramacharya was the guru of Raghunath Das Goswami's family, Majumdar family. So Haridas Thakur had gone to the Chandapur and he stayed there for a while. But one such occasion, Balramacharya invites Haridas Thakur for addressing a group of scholars. So when he had just entered, all of them offered the obeisances and started glorifying Haridas Thakur. The Haridas Thakur is chanting 3 lakh names and all those things to glorify. So everyone started quoting some verses about the glorification of holy name. Someone said, Keba bale nama haite haya papakshaya, keba bale nama haye jivera mokshaya. Some scholars, they commented that simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be completely free from all sinful reactions, papakshaya. But some other scholars said that, not only that, simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, mokshahaya, jivera mokshahaya, simply by chanting, and they will get the liberation. So, but Haridas Thakur, he protested and he said, this is not the thing. He said that, Haridasa ka hena na mera e doi palanaya, na mera pale Krishna pade prema upajaya. He said, na mera e pade. So, the phala of chanting holy name is Krishna pade prema upajaya. To awaken the long relationship of Krishna, not to get free from that is Anushangika phala. He says, Anushangika phala na mera mukti papanasha. Tatara darshate haiche suryere prakasha. He gives example of the Surya. Just like a sun, before you see the sun, you know, all the ignorance will be dissipated, darkness will be dissipated, completely dissipated. So it is Anushangika phala. So by chanting the holy name, even by doing Nama Bhasha, with the offensive chanting, one can be completely free from all sinful reactions and all will be liberated also. But the purpose of chanting holy name is to awaken our long relationship with Krishna. That is important. And immediately when he said that, there was one Gopal Chakravarti. He could not hear this and say that he started offending Haridas Thakur. Prove this. If you don't prove this, I'm going to cut your nose. To Haridas Thakur. All the people started agitated. They got disturbed. What is this? He is our guest. And this fellow is trying to offend him. And the Majumdar family, Govinda, Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar, they put this Gopal Chakravarti outside the house. And it so happened, Haridas Thakur did not take offenses for himself because he was a devotee. And after 3 days, this Gopal Chakravarti was inflicted with leprosy. And all the fingers and the nose fell off. But Haridas Thakur felt so sad about this incident and he praised the Lord for the Gopal Chakravarti again. So, very much important. There's a lot of incidents like this to mention that Nityananda Prabhu about the father-son relationship. Nityananda Prabhu cursing Shivananda Sena so that their children should be dead. There is one pastime is there. I don't have time, please, you can Google and get to know. Nityananda Prabhu punishes Shivananda. And one more pastime is Sarva Bhattacharya curses his son-in-law, Amoga. That is also a wonderful pastime which comes in Madhya Leela. And this Nityananda Prabhu punishes Shivananda, it comes in the Antya Leela. And in Adi Leela, one more pastime comes about the Shivas Thakur pastime, that his son was dead in his house. And Chaitanya Prabhu is all doing kirtan. But he get to know that something ill has happened in his house. When he go to his inner room and get to know that his son is dead, then he tells to all the people that shut your mouth, take this cloth, stuff in your mouth. Don't disturb Chaitanya Prabhu. What kind of devotion and dedication they had for Chaitanya Prabhu. So all those things we can know. So let's all pray to Krishna that Krishna gives us good intelligence so that we can have a proper choices in our life and we can do a proper decision in our life. So please repeat after me. This is a wonderful prayer from Rupa Goswami from Padyavali. So please repeat after me. He Gopalaka, He Krupa Jalanide, He Sindhu Kanyapate, He Gopi Jananata, Palaya Param, Natvam janami vina. He Madhava, He Ramanuja, He Jagatraya Guru, Ekam Santaka, He Karuna Parina, He Pundarika Kshamam. So it's a wonderful prayer that Krishna, your brother of Balaram, brother of Krishna, and Gopi Janata, he is a Nata of gopis. So I don't have any other shelter. Let me take shelter onto your lotus feet so that I can get good intelligence and I can serve Srila Prabhupada in a very good way. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.